evening, everyone, and welcome to the Sheikh Abdullah Stalin Cultural Center series of talks with the Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, also known as KISR. Thank you for joining us. I'm Al-Anoud Al-Sharhan from the Education Department, and I will be the talk moderator this evening. The talk will be for 45 minutes, and the last 15 minutes will be for discussion and questions. Our guest for this evening is Dr. Adel Alhaddad. Dr. Adel is currently a research scientist and program manager of the Wastewater Treatment and Reclamation Technologies program in the Water Research Center at KISR. He also has more than 27 years of experience in the research field, participated in several groundwater, domestic, and industrial wastewater projects, as well as published several papers in refereed journals and international conferences related to water resource management and wastewater treatment technologies. And today he will be talking to us about utilizing renewable energy to support development in Kuwait.
First, I would like to welcome you all who's with us live for this presentation. Our presentation will be titled Utilization of Renewable Energy to Support Development in Kuwait. In this presentation, I'm trying to focus, give a brief about renewable energy. Then I'm moving to role of Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research in renewable energy projects. Also, because I am program manager for wastewater treatment technologies, so I'm trying to focus on the wastewater projects and the activities which is related to renewable energy sources. To brief the renewable energy, if I want to define it as an energy that is collected from natural resources, that will not be depleted, and it will not pollute the environment. So the renewable energy will provide energy in four important areas: for electricity generation, for air and water heating, water cooling, and for different transportations, car, buses, and for rural off-grid energy services. This is the area which is not connected to the electrical network. We have different sources for renewable energy. Sunlight is one of the main energies, which they call it solar energy. We have also wind energy, rainwater, and the movement of it from high location to low location, from mountainous areas there, they call it hydroelectric energy. Also, we have tides and waves energy, solid waste, which is biomass energy, heat from deep underground, which is geothermal energy, and hydrogen gas production. I'll try to focus on one of the forms, which is bacterial fuel cells, and anaerobic wastewater reactions, which is wastewater energy generation. Now, KISR, mostly which is Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, mostly they are focusing in issue number one, solar energy and wind energy. My program mostly is focusing in point number 5, solid waste, and number 7, hydrogen gas production like bacterial fuel cells, and number 8, anaerobic wastewater reactions. Now, unfortunately, hydroelectric energy is not available in Kuwait because we don't have rivers flowing from mountainous area to lowland. So this activity, this type of energy is not available in Kuwait. Also, number 6, geothermal energy. Unfortunately, we don't have underground volcanic activity, which gives high temperature beads and vapors there. So number 6 and number 3 are these type of energy as not available with us. But geothermal energy, you can see it in countries like Iceland. Most of their energy from the underground volcanic activity and the heating from the vapors, all these activities. So I'm trying to give a brief about the first two energies, solar and wind energy, and the role of KISR in that one. Then I'm moving in the current projects which deal with the wastewater activities and energy generation. This brief slide is summarize all types of. Here we have biomass energy, which is the residue of a plant or animal solid waste, and including this part also wastewater. There is a lot of reaction. We'll discuss it later. Solar energy, also the sun radiation. Usually we use the solar cells. We can see here the hydroelectric energy, which unfortunately is not available, the flowing of rivers from mountainous area to lowland, which is not available here. The geothermal energy, which is the heat, which is the underground from volcanic activity, also is not available there. But also we have tidal and wave activities, which can move these submarine turbine vans and can generate electricity for such what you call it, devices for electricity, to monitoring the boats in the sea. So we try to focus on number of these energy, and KISR projects deal with renewable energy. These renewable energy have a number of advantages. This is some list of these advantages. Usually they are safe, abundant, clean form of energy, stable. Also, it can be improved the public health. It can be used or recycle our waste products. It can be profitable. It can provide nation with energy independence. On the other hand, it have also disadvantages. It is not as cost effective if you compare it with the fuel energy resources like oil or gas, coal. It's still some of these sources, it may cause pollution, like biomass, burning of the organic matter from plant residue or animal residue also can give some air pollution. It can take a lot of space to be installed, especially for solar energy. Solar energy needs large area to install the solar cells. Capital storage and maintenance expenses is very high, compared, such as hydroelectric energy and solar energy. Also, it's affected by weather, and the efficiency of the production usually is reduced. If we take, for example, the solar energy does not work only during the daytime. At night, the solar energy is not working because there is no sun radiation. The same thing, if there is no wind is blown in the area where is the wind turbine, these wind turbine will not generate electricity. So it has advantages, and at the same time it has disadvantages. Now I'm trying to focus in KISR. KISR established in 1976. 2 years after the establishment of KISR, pilot project was conducted. This was solar system to produce 100 kilowatts. This is 2 years in 1978, 2 years after the establishment of KISR. And most of the projects in KISR, they are focused in different research areas. Some are focused in solar energy, some studies focus in wind energy, some are in biomass, some are in hydrogen fuel cells, some are in anaerobic wastewater reaction, wastewater energy. I'm trying to focus in these sources of energy. The big project for energy generation in Kuwait, they call it Shigaya Renewable Energy Park. It have number, I think, around 5 phases. Started from the declaration of this project in 2010. And the aim of this project is to produce up 15% of the energy from renewable energy up to year 2030. Shigaya project is a joint project between KISR Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research, and Ministry of Electricity and Water. These projects include designing, financing, building, operating, installing, all these things for renewable energy complex. This slide shows the phase 3 in Shigaya, which is west of Kuwait and close to the border between Iraq and Saudi Arabia. In phase 3, this phase was consist of installation of solar photovoltaic plants, concentrated power also, and a wind power plant. The 3 plants at that time were producing up to 2,000 megawatts. Now, this plant at that phase, they are able to produce electricity to 1,000 residential units. By completing stage 5, the last one, which is running now, they are able to supply electricity to more than 100,000 residential units. Okay. The same time, by using this technology, solar system to produce the electricity, we are saving more than maybe 10 million barrels of oil per year. Also, by using this technique, we are minimizing carbon dioxide emission at a proportion of 5 million tons per year. So we are trying not to pollute the environment or polluting the air by using, because this is clean energy. There is no gases comes from it, like fuel, oil, energy. This slide shows the ceremony of opening the project in 2013. This is the first phase of it. Here you had the Director General of KISR with the Minister of Electricity and Water. You can see that thousands and thousands of these solar cells in the desert of Ashigaya area, they used to produce from the direct sun radiation to produce electricity. And this electricity at the 5th stage is connected with the network of the Ministry of Electricity and Water, and the new residential area now, their electricity is coming from these projects, which is Shigaya projects. Now, someone can ask why it is Shigaya, why they fix it in Shigaya. Shigaya is related to this slide. If you just, I want to focus there. It's related to also to the wind. This is one of the areas in Kuwait where you can find the wind blown the whole day for 12 months. I mean, for the whole year, there is a flow of air, can move these vans and move the wind turbines to generate electricity. This is near the Shigaya. The other areas, Kuwait, they are less in the air to flow and move these vans in these areas. So the 2 types of electricity generation by the solar system and the wind, all they are running now, and they are providing electricity to the new residential areas, which is under construction. They are connected to the network. I'm trying to give a brief about my program, which I'm leading, Wastewater Treatment and Reclamation Technology Program in KISR. Now, the main objective of this program is to utilize the suitable treatment technologies to treat the wastewater. When I say the wastewater, it means domestic and industrial wastewater to the maximum limit, and production of wastewater treated water to meet domestic irrigation industrial purposes. As a secondary product, while we're doing the treatment, we are generating the electricity. Also, while we are treating and generating the electricity, we are producing fertilizers, nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers. We can produce it from domestic and industrial wastewater, from both types of wastewater. Also, industrial wastewater, there is a lot of heavy metals and other salt which we can extract from these wastewater. Just to give a brief about the wastewater, we have 3 types of wastewater: gray water, black water, and industry wastewater. I'm trying to focus on these types of wastewater and the treatment technologies along with energy generation. If I start with the gray water, this type of water represents the water which comes from the houses, and they are what you call it, highly polluted with water which is used for chemicals or detergents, other things, away from the toilet water. Toilet water, they call it black water or sewage water. I'm not speaking for this one. Now I'm speaking about the gray water. So the study shows that average of 65 of water discharged from the houses is from gray water. The shower water only, the shower water shows the higher water consumption is around 63 liters per person per day. Okay. The gray water also, they are divided into 2 types: light gray water and dark gray water. The light gray water, it includes sink water, shower water, automatic washing machines, and mostly in the form of suspendeds, detergents, disinfectant, personal care products. While dark gray water mostly related to the kitchen sink and mostly in the form of organics, residue, oil, grease, and dissolved organics, which is used in the kitchen usually, associated with the water. I'm trying to focus in one of these projects which is running now. This is just a brief slide about gray water use option. If you see in the slide here, so the water which is out from the toilet, it goes to what you call it sewer system, which we define it as a black water, while the water from the sink and the shower and the toilets, usually they call it light gray water and can process through the treatment unit, while the kitchen one, okay, and also maybe the washing machine, cloth washing machine, which they define by heavy gray water. This is after they do the treatment, they can be recycled in the same house for flushing the toilet, for gardening, for pontoons, for cleaning the yard, and for car wash. There is a lot of activity. You can utilize the gray water to be used several times in the same house. Usually the gray water treatment unit in the houses, it consists of the following: subsurface row gray water tank, supply pumps, sand filter with automatic wash, 10 micrometer of suspension removal, usually also associated with carbon filter, or this is for organic compounds removal, and ultraviolet lamps treatment. This is to get rid of the germs which is found in the water. And finally, it goes with disinfection with chlorine to get rid from any bacteria in the water. After final, then we do 1 micron filters, then treated gray water tank. Usually all these treatment, we pump the gray water from the yard of the house, from all the toilets or bathrooms in the houses. We collect it, then we pass it through the treatment unit, which we put in the roof of the building. And after the treatment, the treated gray water is passed by gravity to all toilets to flush the toilets several times. Let me see in the project which we are running. This building, okay, to the left, it's a 3-floor building, belongs to Ministry of Al-Awqaf Affairs. Here in this project, we started maybe 1 year back. We tried to separate the gray water line from the sewage line. So we have total of 24 bathroom in these floors. So we are collecting all the gray water in this tank, going to this tank. After that, we pump it. This tank goes to the pumps here. They pump the gray water to the roof of the building. Here, you will see it, the treatment units. This building is in Ardia area, block 2, which we are running our project in arrangement with the Al-Awqaf Ministry. So we are in the roof of the building. So all the gray water goes to this tank. After that, we pass the sand filters, the activated carbon filters, and there is chlorine, disinfection, all these things. After that, the treated gray water will go to another tank, then in the roof of them, then it will flows directly and goes to each flat, to each toilet. We have total around 24 bathrooms. And in this project, we are using it to flush the toilet. So we are recycling the gray water inside the house. So we are reducing the consumption of fresh water. Instead of each time we are using flushing of fresh water in the toilets, no, we are using recycling of gray water. Okay, so by this, not only we are reducing the consumption of fresh water, but also we are reducing the cost the owner of the house or the ministry, which they are paying for the water consumption. This project was focusing only on light gray, not heavy gray. The kitchen gray water can also be treated and can be used also for energy generation, which I will show in the next slides. If I'm going to the domestic wastewater, which they call it black water, which is in our definition is the sewage, this is heavy polluted water and contain high concentration of fecal matter, urine, organic matters, microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and other germs, plus chemicals, which is added to the fresh waters mixed with these fresh water to make it more polluted. Usually the domestic wastewater here, what we have in Kuwait, we have 4 stages of a treatment. We have primary treatment stage, secondary treatment stage, tertiary treated stage, and 4th treatment stage. If we are starting with primary treatment stage, in this stage, we are trying to remove all types of solids from the water. Wood, plastic, gravel, sand, everything to remove it. So water is passing one line and the solid going down. Plus, we are removing also any oil or grease or dissolved gases in this stage. So clean or only water going to the secondary treatment stage. In this stage, there is biological treatment is running in this stage. It's divided into 2 parts, aeration tank and secondary clarifier. In the aeration tanks, we are trying to activate types of bacteria, aerated bacteria in the presence of oxygen, try to eat the organic as a food and to break down these organics. So the water, after we passing the secondary, all these things will be removed, going to tertiary treatment stage. This stage includes 2 things, filtration and disinfection. Either we are using disc or sand filters to remove the suspension. After that, we disinfect the water either by chlorine or using ultraviolet radiation lamps to kill the germs, including the parasites, egg worms, and other types of parasites. In some of our plants, like Salabia plants, usually we cancel the tertiary treated stage, we replace it with fourth treatment stage, which is membrane filtration stage. Either we use, here in the Kuwait, we are using ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis membrane processes, and we follow it by disinfection. Usually the target or the aim of these membrane to remove the salts from the water, to transfer it from brackish to potable water. So stage 4 is trying to produce potable water from wastewater. This is part A of secondary treatment stage. You can see here, there is beneath this water, there is air diffusers. They're trying to bring the oxygen to activate the bacteria, which they are grown here, to eat the organics, which is considered as a food for them, to break them and to transfer to CO2 and water. This is the part B of biological treatments, where any heavy material like sludge, usually they settle because of the gravity, they settle down, and the clean water is passing from these secondary clarifiers going to the tertiary treated stage. This is our reverse osmosis membrane, which is installed in Salabia wastewater treatment plant. This is the biggest, what they call it, plant where they are using the membranes. Total around 19,000 modules of RO membranes is fixed in that plant. And this plant started in 2004, and it will be run, I think, in BOT project with the Ministry of Public Work up to 2034. So for 30 years, they are working in this project. But this project is producing potable water from wastewater. In Kuwait, we have number of treatment plants. We have Kabd, we have Al Hayman, sewage treatment plant, we have Salabia wastewater. These three are bigger plants for treating the domestic wastewater. Then we have small plants like Al Wafra. This is only to treat the wastewater of Al Wafra residential area. Any treatment system which is not connected central to ministry lines, we usually connected with on-site treatment system. Either it is for domestic or industrial. There is two types for on-site treatment system. Kabd sewage treatment plants, their product water after the treatment, which is after the tertiary, usually they use this water for greenery and landscaping. The same thing as for Al Hayman. Now, Salabia is the largest plant in Kuwait. The product is potable water, but because of religious reasons, and usually this water, in the Ministry of Public Works, they use it for irrigation for agricultural crops. In the north of Kuwait, in Al Wafra farms, also in the south of Kuwait, south in Al Wafra, also for Abdali farms, they use it in the north of Kuwait. Salabia, their capacity, they are around now is around 450,000 meter cube per day, and they're trying to expand this plant to around 600,000 meter cube per day. Kabd and is around 200,000 meter cube per day, the capacity of the flow of this water. Al Hayman, they are now in expansion projects, and they are connecting a Rigga wastewater treatment plant to it. So they tried also to increase the capacity of this plant to maybe around more than 400,000 meter cube per day for this one. Al Wafra, the small scale treatment plants, this is for 5,000 to 2,000 meter cube per day. This is for small plants. But areas, residential area, which is not connected to the sewage treatment plant, they do on-site treatment system for them. Now, within wastewater, I'm very interested in the biological reactions which produce energy. Now, we have aerobic biological wastewater reactions, and we have anaerobic biological reactions, and we have anaerobic biological reaction, but this is for sludge, not wastewater. Number 3 is for sludge reaction. And we will update you what KISR is doing in that field. The aerobic biological reaction, here we are trying to add oxygen either through air or pure oxygen in the wastewater to activate aerobic bacteria to eat the organics and break down these organics, the complex types of these organics, to the simple types, which is carbon dioxide and water. Anaerobic, number 2, this is the important for me, this type of reaction, this is the one, it's run under reduced environment. It means there is no oxygen in the system. The bacteria try to break down the organics, and the final product is water and methane. I'm interested on methane gas. This methane gas, usually, it turns the turbine engine and generate electricity. Number 2, this is from the wastewater, not a sludge. It's from the wastewater. It can generate the electricity. Regarding connection between number 2 and number 4, already we submit proposal to KFOS, Kuwait Foundation of Advanced Sciences, and Ministry of Public Work. So we got funded, and within, I think, the coming 2 months or 3 months maximum, the project will be start. And our target, we try to use anaerobic biological reactor in capped wastewater treatment. We need to install it at that site. And once we are treating the wastewater, and as a secondary product is energy we are generating. If the energy quantity is very high, we are trying to reduce, try to push the ministry to reduce the energy consumption from Ministry of Electricity and Water, and depend on the electricity from the wastewater from their plant. So our experience in different countries, the one which we visit and we have coordination, it shows that the methane gas generation of electricity can reach up to 90 or 95% of it. So these plants, they don't need to get the electricity from outside source, only they can depend from the wastewater. The sludge also, anaerobic reaction, we have here, when I say there's 2 types of sludge, solid sludge and wet sludge. Usually the sludge, most of it, around 98% of it is water. So anaerobic reaction for the wet sludge also will produce methane. This methane also will turn the turbines and generate electricity. It can be used for heating, lighting, a lot of purposes. It can be used there. And we have a project in MPW also in next April will be start. And the result of these projects, once it is the units are started, installed, operated, and we try to publish these results, inshallah, in conference and refereed journals, inshallah. This is solid sludge. Here, the solid sludge, usually we consider it as a product, fertilizer products. We can extract from nitrogen fertilizer. We can, in different forms, ammonia, urea fertilizers. You can use it as also phosphatic fertilizers. We can use it also as soil amendment or enhancement. I don't know if the audience, they know that our Kuwaiti soil lacks of organics. There is no organics, mostly are sandy, gravelly soil. There is no little or null even organics there. So adding these organics, it will increase the fertility of the soil for the plant growth. As we said, kitchen considered as heavy gray water. If we treat the kitchen wastewater, because you have huge organic residue comes from the heavy gray water, and we do the treatment for it. So this treated water plus methane production, we can use it for cooking, lighting, energy, electricity. The same thing, animal manure and agricultural residues and solid wastewater, all these things, after we do the treatment for it, we can use it as fertilizers and soil amendments. So there's a lot of application for these activities there. If I go to the third branch of wastewater, which is industry wastewater. If I'm trying to simply to define it as a fresh water used in different, in the plant, used for different production lines. Usually the fresh water is mixed with different compounds, organic, heavy metals, chemicals, and other things. So it became as contaminated industry wastewater. This water can be treated, recycled, or sometimes without the treatment can be reused, okay? In Kuwait, the wastewater usually declassified either to petroleum or non-petroleum industries. These factories they were constructed under the supervision of PI, which is Public Authority for Industry, and EPA, which is Kuwait Environmental Public Authority. Studying the industry wastewater will provide us with the following. First, we are establishing database regarding the quality and quantity of wastewater produced from different industries in Kuwait. And after that, we try to treat this industry wastewater for different purposes, such as irrigation, industrial, domestic, and also associated with energy generation at the same time. In Kuwait here, the industry areas, they are focused in three to four areas. Some of the factories, they are focused in Kuwait City. Some are in Sabhan industry area. Some are in Shu'aiba industry area. Plus, along the coastal line here, we have the activities of oil refineries, which include the refinery of Shu'aiba, Mina Abdullah, and Al-Ahmadi refinery, plus Azur refinery. So we have number of plants which they are dealing with industrial wastewater treatment. The previous slide was speaking about treatment of domestic wastewater. Now here we are speaking for treating industrial wastewater. We have Al-Wafra plant. This deals with treating non-petroleum wastewater from different sources. This plant is supervised by PI, Public Authority for Industry. While Shu'aiba plant, it's dealing with treating the petroleum wastewater and supervised also by PI. The wastewater treatment facilities of the three oil big refineries, and I think Mina Abdullah and Ahmadi and Azur, this is supervised, these plants, by KNBC, and mostly they are focused on treated petroleum wastewater. In 2018, the government decided to construct another industry wastewater in Sabhan. They are in initiation and preparation stage to treat the industry wastewater, which is collected from the factories of Sabhan area. And this plant only for non-petroleum wastewater, to treating non-petroleum wastewater, also is supervised by PI. I'll try to give some showing some of the results, okay? Just to see, even without treating the industrial wastewater, how good is the quality of the industrial wastewater. Here I'm focusing on the phosphate on the raw wastewater, which is out from one of the factories in Sabhan area, which is detergent factory, okay? EPA, we have maximum limit around 30 milligram per liter, the orange color. If you see that this is recent results in 2019, okay? All the readings that are below the standard, it means this water without a treatment, you can use it for irrigation purposes without any treatments. If I go to another types of fertilizer, phosphate is one of the fertilizers. If I go to ammonia fertilizers, the same result also, we can see that the ammonia result below the EPA maximum limit set for the irrigation, which is 15 milligram per liter. It means that this water, industrial wastewater, can be used safely for irrigation with respect to ammonia fertilizers. If I go for TKN, which is summation of ammonia and organic nitrogen, also our result shows that it is below 30 milligram per liter set by Kuwait EPA. It means this water can be used safely for irrigations water. So it supports the domestic wastewater. Not only domestic wastewater can use for irrigation, also the industrial wastewater can be used for irrigation. If we consider it as total nitrogen also their values are below 60 milligram per liter set by EPA. This is all evidence that the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other types of fertilizers, you can use it safely for irrigation. This is for one of the factories in Sabhan area, which is detergent factory. I'm going to bacterial fuel cells. I know the time is running, but I'm trying to finish the last few slides which I have. The bacterial fuel cells, we have a project, and within coming 2 months, it will start with us. Here we have 2 chambers. We have 2 electrodes. In this one is anode, connected in electric circuits, connected with other electrode, which is cathode, in the other one. In this chamber, we are inserting the reduced wastewater in this line here, okay? In the other side is oxidized environment. It means we are entering the oxygen to that chamber. So we have reduction, oxidation, reaction in between these two chambers. In the middle here, we have proton exchange membrane in the middle here. So what will happen? The bacteria, the reduced type of bacteria, which we have here, it tries to break down the organics of the wastewater, and it will produce the electrons here, plus protons, plus also CO2 is coming. So the electrons will move from anode, going through towards the cathode. It tries to produce the electricity. The protons, which is hydrogen ions, try to pass from this chamber to this chamber, meeting with the oxygen, creating clean water. So we are treating the wastewater. At the same time, we are producing electricity. This project will be conducted in different types of industrial wastewater in Kuwait. It will be focused on these types of wastewater. So as we said, it is treating the wastewater, generating electricity, also can be to produce fertilizers, these bacterial fuel cells. Here, in this project, we select factories from dairy factories, also soft drink factories, food factory, slaughtering house factory. So we will collect wastewater from these factory and we will apply bacterial fuel cell to treat this water and generate electricity. This project is funded, and soon, within coming 2 months, inshallah, it will be started. Once we got the results, we try to publish it through conferences and refereed. And the energy which will be produced, we are trying to provide it to the owner of the factory. Instead of the owner of the factory getting the electricity from Ministry of Electricity and Water, no, he will get it from the same wastewater which he has. So bacterial fuel cell and anaerobic digestion reactors, they are different technologies to treat the wastewater, and as a secondary product, they produce electricity. The addition of these types of electricity in the future, we are trying to add it to the normal solar and wind energy generation to increase our electric network in the country. I'm taking too much time. I would like to thank you, all the audience, for their attention and listening, and thank you a lot. I'm happy to get any question that you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adel, for this presentation. And I really can't wait to see the results from the project you just talked about, from the dairy, the food, and the slaughterhouses. It would be amazing to see all the different results you'll be getting. And to our audience, if you have any questions or input, please type it into the chat and we will start answering them soon. And while you are typing your questions, we actually had a few during the talk, so I will start with those. So, Dr. Adel, we have a question about the Shagaya. Can the Shagaya energy project be used for other types of renewable energy, or is it just solar and wind power?
This project is mostly focused to generate electricity from sun radiation and from the wind. And as I told, that's it's focused in this area because of the high wind blown in that area. So, and it's close to the border between Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Kuwait in that area. But our target in these two fields. But the area which I'm working mostly in wet and what do we call it, liquid wastewater and solid wastewater. These types also produce energy. They call it biofuel. We should also try to use this project and to see how much electricity. At the same time, we are treating the wastewater, domestic or industry. We try to see how much energy we can produce and to be connected to the network of the country.
And we have another Shagaya question. What urban areas will benefit from that project? Is it only the ones in Western Kuwait, or it could be anywhere that's far from it?
As far I know, that's the new residential area like Matla area, their electricity will come from these projects. Any new residential area, it will be their energy from this area.
That sounds kind of cool because I'll be living in Matla, inshallah. So it would be nice to get it from that. And we have another question about brackish water, which I believe is my slaby. So yes. If we use brackish water for more activities, can we actually sustain water in Kuwait?
Just to give you brief about the brackish water. In Kuwait, we have 4 types of groundwater. We have fresh water in north of Kuwait, which is Rawdatain and Aish. This fresh groundwater fields. And there is factory producing bottled water, Rawdatain. Most of the country of Kuwait, they have brackish groundwater fields, except areas in northwest of Kuwait where we have saline and brine groundwater also. Groundwater here in Kuwait now, they try to use new fields to support and to increase the quantity of the brackish water. Usually they use it for irrigation, and the Ministry of Electricity and Water, they try to supply and connect the groundwater from the fields through subsurface lines towards the houses. Unfortunately, I think they are running it maybe 1 day or 2 days per week, the brackish groundwater. But it's an important source, and part of this source, they use it to mix it the groundwater with the desalinated water from the seawater desalination plant to produce potable water. You know that desalinated water, there is no salt with it. So they took some of the salt from the brackish groundwater, they added to the distilled water to increase the salinity. Then after that, they disinfected and they send it through the network for the houses.
All right, so for the project in Adel that you showed, was that a case study or was Kisser asked by the Awqaf Ministry to do this?
This is Kisser project funded by KFOS. We started with Housing Authority. Housing Authority, they asked us to coordinate with Ministry of Awqaf Affairs. They give us these houses. It was, during that time, it was under construction. It was easy to separate the black water from the gray water. The house is not ready. If the house is ready, you need to do a lot of cutting and holes in these houses to make separation. But if the house at the early stage, yes, you can separate the gray water from the black water. It will be easy for later for treatment, and also it will be easy for energy generation.
Can someone building their house do this now? Or is it just
anyone who has plans to construct a new house, he can do it, okay? And I think the separation does not take more than maybe between 1,000 to 1,500 kD for the separation. Even the treatment unit, something between 2,000 kD, around this figure, he can use it small, because I work in the 3 floors buildings, not like the house. The normal house, it's really small, even small size treatment units with even cheaper prices than the prices which are using there.
So we have another question. What is the amount of energy that the bacteria fuel generation is producing per watt?
Still, we are in research area. Usually they are low, according what is in the literature. They are low, not too much. But we try to use different types of industry wastewater from different factories. And we want to see, because this is the main covering, I think, more than 60% of the factories which is Kuwait. Either they are in food or soft drinks or dairy products or slaughtering houses. So we are taking different types of industrial water, and we want to see how much electricity for each type of water. But what is in literature, they are saying they can produce energy, but not too much. So we are now in research phase. We want to see how much energy you can use. This is now the last technology which now most of the countries, they are to try to treat this water, and while we are treating it, generating the electricity, and to extract also fertilizers from these organics also.
Do you believe that 4 water treatment plants are enough for Kuwait, or do we need more?
If we are going to use this water for irrigation, I think up to tertiary treated level is enough. In Kuwait, we are treating the wastewater like in Salabia. We are treating it up to potable water level, not irrigation, potable water level. It means this water meets the drinking water standard set by World Health Organization, WHO. So it means this water is potable. And now we are treating, I think, around 450,000 meter cube per day. And the company, in the coming days and months, they try to expand the plant to up to 600,000 meter cube per day. So, and our total production of treated wastewater is reaching more than 1 million meter cube per day of domestic wastewater. If we add to it more than 10th of millions of industrial wastewater, so we will have large quantity of treated wastewater from industrial sector and from domestic wastewater that we can use it for agriculture sector, energy generation, fertilizer and other products, heavy metal products extraction, and other things we can do from these types of waters we have.
That is actually amazing to think about, really. And we have another question going back to the Awqaf project. So this person asked, is there anything else that is more affordable that they can do as opposed to what you've done with the house in Ardiya?
This project, we are trying to see how much water we can save with respect to the fresh water if we recycle the gray water inside the house. Again, how much money we will reduce the cost of saving the money now, because by reducing the consumption of fresh water, sure, the bill for the money consumption will be less. The second thing, our target, our main long target we are trying, after we finish this project, we try to do conferences, workshops, and we're trying to invite staff from Authority of Housing. The new houses for the residential area, we try to push the ministers to separate the gray water from the black water. If for all the new houses, if they separate the gray water from the black water, it means you need just a small treatment unit. You can recycle this water several times in your house. You are reducing the cost of the fresh water. And you can, if you do small treatment plants, you put it in the yard of your house or in the roof of your house, you can generate electricity for water, for cooking, for lighting, for a lot of activities. You can use it also there. So there's long targets in these projects, which we are planning for it.
Inshallah, you get to do all these targets. And now for our final question, do you believe that in the future, will the government or the private sector replace the energy source for households to have clean energy all over Kuwait?
The solar projects, which is in Shigaya, I think the private sector also, they enter in this project. And I think there is some of these solar cells, they are coordinating with a Spanish company. They are working in this big project. So not only Kisar and ministers and consultants and some outside company, and there is big partners in these projects. Here in Kuwait is still recycling and treating and energy generation from the wastewater in the house scale or commercial or mall or these types of complexes and buildings, still there is no laws for it. This project, it will try to give the benefits to the people, to the government sectors. We have one project now, but still in the preparation stage with the State of Audit Bureau. We are trying to recycle the gray water in their 3 big complexes what they have in Shueikh area. So by treating this water and the energy generation, so we are trying to use the vision of Amir vision here to utilize the water and to utilize the energy also to make it sustainable for Kuwait for long time. So these kinds of a project is adding and producing energy to the solar, the wind. Maybe in the future also the Environment Research Center, they will start to do the research on the tides and the waves also to produce also other types of energy.
Thank you so much for answering all the questions, Dr. Adel, and thank you for the very lovely presentation.
I thank you all for this presentation, and inshallah in the future, once these projects, we got the results of these current projects which we are running now, inshallah we'll make another presentation online for all to see how much energy we are producing and how we will apply this technology in the private sector and government sector and the housing authority for the new residential area, how to separate the gray water, and how to produce the energy from the kitchen waste, which is in these houses, instead of throwing it, accumulating large garbage of these solid waste in our country.
We would love to see all your future projects, inshallah. And to all our viewers today, we hope to be able to see you soon at Sheikh Abdullah Salim Cultural Center. And stay updated for our upcoming events by following us on our social media accounts. And join us next week on Monday at 8 p.m. with Dr. Hussein Jum'ah on a seminar also about the use of renewable energy in Kuwait. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.